As you guys can imagine, if you've watched my last video, being home is so difficult. Um, my first night, I sobbed because it's just so hard for me to not think about what my neighbor has done, and I feel so unsafe at home. Um, and that's why I'm recording right now, because long story short, my dad has somebody coming in to fix our chimney tomorrow, and we've never met him before. And the usual guy that comes in is having his friend do it instead, or like his friend is coming in as well, and his name is Mike. And Mike is the name of my previous neighbor. So it's hard for me not to think about the fact, or think about the possibility of Mike, like my neighbor, coming in and fixing my chimney. I know it sounds ridiculous, and like, I don't know, maybe I'm just gaslighting myself. I don't know. But I'm like so nervous for the fact that maybe he might come and just kill me tomorrow. Like, that's like a genuine fear. Like, I can't feel safe. It's just so hard. And I wanted to record something because I'm feeling very aligned with my emotions right now. More so because I'm emotionally triggered right now, and I can express that to you guys because it just feels comfortable. And for that, I appreciate you guys for. Not that like you guys create like a positive or like safe environment, but like in my head, in my heart, you do. And I know that the people that watch my videos, I know that they're good people, and I really appreciate you guys just for listening. I feel like this is like my own therapy session. I do need a therapy session right now. It's been like a month. But I'm trying to think about this in like a positive way, because I always like to try to switch my perspective in a way that can help you guys. Not necessarily positive, but in a way that can help you guys. But healing from trauma and healing from past experiences is so difficult. There's no blueprint for it. And because of that, people feel lost. I feel lost in my own healing process, and I'm just so sick of constantly being triggered by things. Like, I had posted this poem the other day. Well, it's not like a long poem, but it's like something along the lines of, it was something along the lines of, my peace is always broken, and the peace that's broken is broken by a battle in my own mind, fighting for peace or like hope and despair, because the person that I've grown from since my childhood wants to have a positive life. And there's a part of me that is also holding on to what's happened. And it's not like I'm purposefully holding on to that. It's that I can't let go. And it's not so much so like detaching. It's that I have trauma, and it's okay to still feel however we need to feel, and however extent that may go to. Like how I said, the first night that I came back, I cried. And for a few nights now, well, like 3 or 4 nights of the past like 2 weeks I've been here, I felt like crying. And I don't know how to feel anymore. I feel like sometimes I have to suppress my feelings just to make it through the day. And maybe that's a fight or flight kind of reaction to my trauma, but it's hard to even know how to feel or like be comfortable expressing how I want to feel. Like, I've been wanting to tell my parents how I'm feeling, but it's also so hard. That's the other thing with just the mental health stigma in general, because the people that we're closest to, we struggle to tell them our darkest and deepest things first. Or the most. Why did I say first? Maybe because we feel like they have this identity that they've formed based on ourselves, and we feel like we can't disturb that. And so we lie to them and we lie to ourselves by trying to preserve that identity by pretending to be okay all the time. But we're not okay all the time. Nobody is. And the thing is, we're only betraying ourselves in that way. And I didn't really like to say that, but it's true, because that hurts my own ego now, because I'm betraying myself by not telling my parents how I'm actually feeling. And the reason that is because if we were to tell the people close to us how we're actually feeling, given it's a safe environment and people are open to being there for you and like being a supportive person in your life, and say we were going to actually express that vulnerability with another, we actually create deeper and more meaningful connections with people. Because when we see that somebody's also emotionally hurting and imperfect just like we are, we can recognize ourselves in them. And because we don't show that side of ourselves that often, we feel like we're alone. And that's a big problem in society in general. Everybody feels alone. This poem that I had written, I talked about how we can be alone in a crowded place. And I think that's really telling to the fact that there's a lot of work to do in our society. I don't even know where I'm going with this conversation. Maybe I'm just avoiding talking about my own feelings, or maybe this is helpful to you guys. I truly don't know. Sometimes I feel like I'm just recording just to record. I don't know. But I don't know if you guys have noticed. Well, you must have. But from my last video, like almost a year ago now, which is crazy. Or my first video, rather. Almost a year ago. I've gotten so much better speaking. Which goes to show that you can grow from your experiences, and you can grow with effort and time and being patient with yourself. Because even still, I'm hard on myself for not being able to articulate how I want to speak exactly. And I still struggle with that sometimes. But with time and patience, we can heal a lot. And one thing I've noticed from going to therapy these past few months at school, telling our truth and actually allocating time to allowing ourselves to heal helps so much. So much. And I highly, highly, highly recommend therapy, because you are not telling your dark, I don't want to say dark necessarily, your deep thoughts to a person that has like some sort of subjective role in your life. You're telling it to somebody that doesn't know you and doesn't know, or doesn't have an impact on your life. They're completely objective. And I think in that you can also create a meaningful relationship in that way too, because you're actually divulging yourself into a new connection with somebody, and you're finally allowing yourself to speak your truth. And not many places or people give you the time to actually speak your mind, which is a shame, but I do highly recommend it. I think when we also tell people about what we're going through, we're also unraveling our mind from the trauma and the pain, the sadness, the depression, the anxieties that are all raveled up in our brain, and we can finally untangle them and see them for what they are, and we can understand ourselves better. And I think that's the most important thing. We're there for ourselves. We're not there to... I feel like there's a lot of fear about telling somebody about your sadness and whatever you're going through. I feel like there's a lot of fear about whether they'll judge me, or whether they'll judge what you've gone through, or like think of you as less than. But you're not. No matter what we've gone through and how we feel, it does not indicate who we are. And it also goes to show that we are imperfect. No matter what, we're always imperfect. But that doesn't mean that we can't also be beautiful, and we can't also be worthy of love, and we can't also be worthy of any sort of relationship with another person. I feel like we feel like we're a burden because we're not okay, but that's not true. Like I said, creating those, or being vulnerable and creating those deeper connections with somebody actually allows a stronger bond with people. So when you feel like you're a burden to somebody for telling other people how you feel, you're actually speaking your mind and unraveling it, all the anxieties and however you're feeling in your brain, but also creating a deeper connection with the other person, as well as like truly allowing them to have the space to share as well. And when given that chance, and when both people feel like they can share, that's when you create those deeper connections with people. And I think that's what's most important. But I guess back to whatever I'm feeling, I don't know. I don't know. And I think that's normal for trauma. It's okay not to know how to feel, especially during the holiday season. There's so many things to feel, and we feel like we have to feel one certain way at a time, but it's okay to feel different emotions, or it's okay not to know how to feel, or to be completely numb. Give yourself some grace, because life is difficult, and we don't need that added pressure from ourselves. Be patient with yourself, because you deserve patience, and you deserve love from yourself and others. I think when we feel like a burden to others, we feel like the love that we receive from them is conditional. But love itself is not conditional. Love is unconditional. So when we express ourselves to somebody else, and we express how we're actually feeling, we're allowing them to express their unconditional love for us as well. Because if that relationship is unconditional and actually loving, then you will be met with a reaction that will support you, at least to the best of their ability. I know that there's a lot of toxic positivity in society, and I know there's not a lot of, I feel like people don't know necessarily how to respond to people expressing themselves. But the people that do love you and do care about you, they will 100% try to listen. and they will try to care. And they might not show it in the best way, but usually they do mean it in a good way. I had no plan going into this video. I just kind of wanted to get out of the house because of how I felt, and I was very emotionally triggered, and I wanted to record for you guys because I love you guys, and I want to be there for you guys, and I want you guys to know that I'm struggling too, and everybody struggles, and you're not alone in your struggle. I know you may feel alone, but you are not alone. And I just wanted you guys to know that, and that, I don't know. I'm still struggling with this, guys. I don't know how to close out a video. I guess I just hit the button and get on my way. But I love you guys, and I hope this holiday season is treating you okay. I know that this sort of time can bring a lot. Like, you might have some familial issues, you might have problems with relationships back home, past trauma, whatever it may be. I know that there's a lot of things to feel right now, and you're not alone. Take care.